Hey Chicago golfers, fun fact, golf has been around for 600 years. It started in Scotland, and the famous St. Andrew's course that we know, the old course, it's been hosting golf since the 1400s. It's pretty crazy. So, as a modern golf coach in today's world, I can't help but think, how did these golfers in the past develop their golf skills? Before technology and simulators, slow motion swing video analysis, training aids, YouTube, Instagram, like how they develop their skills. I think the technology that we have nowadays is really cool when used correctly, but I think if used incorrectly, it could overcomplicate the game, get you thinking too many thoughts, get you focused on the wrong things. So in this video, I want to give you 5 old school tips from generations past that could help you learn the game in this modern world. Let's go and get started. Old school tip number 1, focus on motion rather than swing positions. So when we look at some of the best golf swings from the past, when we look at Bobby Jones, Sam Snead, Ben Hogan, and Mickey Wright, they all flowed, all right? When we look at their golf swings and we would see them go back, none of them kept this front foot on the ground. We would see them lift up their lead heel. What's that mean? It means my weight's on my trail foot, okay? We would see them come through. My trail heel's off the ground. What's that mean? It means the weight's on my lead foot. So that's similar to when we're walking. Trail foot, lead foot, similar to throwing a ball. I've loaded back here. I've gone through. And when they're making these motions, all right, there's fluidity, there's rhythm, there's balance. So the way that we could learn some of that, I want to break it down for you step by step. I first want to get the body doing good things, okay? So if you just hold the club out in front and you have your palms up, your arms are connected to your side, look at yourself in a mirror. You can even take a couple chairs, put them by you, but you want to feel a rotation going back and a rotation going through. So my pressure is shifting. I'm loading into my trail side. I'm loading into my lead side. Just going back and forth like this, 1, 2, okay? I call this the golf dance, all right? After you've done that, let's put the club in our hands and give me a couple thumps of the club going up and down and hitting the ground, all right? So then when we start to blend, a little bit of loading and releasing, turning back, turning through, with the up and down, we start to create some magic, all right? We could get this club to go back and forth and hit the ground in the same spot each time, okay? Now, it's a feel, if you're used to doing it backwards, it feels different, but it's worth learning. We could create this golf dance if we learn how to do it, and it'd be less mechanical and thinking about where to place the club, but more trying to create that rhythmic flow. And I think that's easier to create from round to round. I think that's one of the keys to consistency. So focus on motion rather than positions. Old school tip number 2, focus on the swinging of the club head. So let's talk about really characteristics of a swing, all right? So when I'm swinging this golf club back and forth, the top of the club, my hand is moving, so it puts energy into the club. If this didn't move, then the swing is starting to die. So we need some energy. I have to move it first, and then I could get that swinging motion going back and forth. The other thing that we're noticing with the swinging motion is that it's symmetric. So what I'm doing going back is matched very much following through. And then the final characteristic of a nice swinging motion is that when it changes directions from backswing to downswing, it's almost as if the club pauses as it changes directions, all right? There's nothing really quick or over-accelerated or decelerated. It's a very smooth change of directions. So this is what we want in our golf swing too. So let's talk about how we could do it. I want you to take a 2x4, something with a little bit of weight. I want you to put the club head out in front of it. I want you to feel like your core, your torso, your middle starts the motion. Your pivot's gonna start the motion, and then the club will move secondary. What's really nice about this, when done correctly, you will feel no manipulation in your wrists. So here's my pivot, that starts, club's going back, It's completely square. I have a good grip, but because I had a nice pivot and no manipulation, I was really actually feeling the club swing back and a nice square face, all right? So I like that for helping the takeaway. The second thing that I like, and especially with long irons, I have a 3-iron in my hand. I don't game this, it's a blade. I like to practice with it. If I could hit this good, I could hit anything good. But when I'm making this motion, all right, I'm gonna start with my pivot, I'm gonna feel the club gather at the top. It's not loose, it's not out of control, but I feel it gather. And then what I do on this side, it's the golf swing symmetric, I'm gonna match it up on this side. So I'm gonna have my pivot start the motion. I'm gonna feel gathered at the top. And then I'm gonna have my swing symmetric, where at the top of my swing, I turn the nose back, my hands are kind of by my ear. I'm soft, I'm not rigid, it's very soft. It's not broken down. But feel the pivot start the motion, go by the ear, let it gather, and then be symmetric over on this side. And if you start focusing on feeling the club head swing rather than trying to hit it, I think you'll actually hit the ball farther than ever. So get the speed in the right spot, get the speed at the bottom, but focus on the swinging of the club head. Old school tip number 3, be reactive on the golf course. So when you see these golfers from the past, they would always stay in motion with their pre-shot routine. They were very target oriented, and it was a sign that they weren't thinking too much. So when they were hitting golf shots, they all kind of had the same little routine. They'd aim that club face, they'd move their feet, they're looking at the target. They all had a waggle. They'd have one last look, and then they would pull the trigger. Okay. We do not want to freeze when we're over a golf ball. I think the modern players nowadays, they're really stiff and they're just thinking, you know? We want to create flow by having a routine of club, left foot, right foot, waggle. You get settled, that waggle's there to settle you down, but go ahead and look and then shoot. We want to be reactive, just like a basketball player. When he gets the ball, he looks, he shoots. He's not thinking about his arm and all these different positions. So be reactive on the golf course. Old school tip number 4, master your pre-swing fundamentals. Guys, if you get really good and meticulous with your grip, stance, alignment, and ball position, the rest of the game becomes easier. The rest of the swing is easier. Then all you have to do is your golf dance. I find that my golfers, they don't lose their swing from one day to another, but their pre-swing fundamentals will drift. All right, so let's start with the grip. You could take your hands and let's put your thumb and your index finger together. So we're creating connection. So they're gently together and they have this line. Go with our lead hand, my left hand. I'm cupping my fingers and I'm letting my arm hang in its natural state. I got the V to the right shoulder, 2 knuckles. I could hinge it up and down. My trail hand also have the connection. I take these 3 middle fingers. I attach them to my lead hand. It's in my fingers. I have this V right here, right on the inside of my trail arm. Also close to my right shoulder. Guys, if you could do this, the club is vertical. We could always hold the club up, it's vertical. If it's in a good spot in the fingers, you could have the club, you could rest it on your shoulders, and I can see that's in my fingers, like that. We could be like Scotty Scheffler. We could look at our grip from up here and make sure its V's are in the right spot. Okay, and then we could bend to our posture. What's so great about having a nice grip is that when you make a swing free of manipulation, too much manipulation of your hands, closing or opening, and you do your golf dance, you have a really good chance of having the ball stay in front of you, okay? The second thing, your stance, your posture. I want you to be in a balanced state. I have these balance discs right here. I want us to be able to feel balanced when we're over the golf ball. It would be hard. You don't have to hit on these, but I think being able to just first stand on these. I know when I first got these, I wasn't able to do what I'm doing right now. But I've gotten better, so that you feel your balance. There's some checkpoints, all right? When you're in a balanced state, the back of your foot is gonna go right. The back of your foot, your heel, will go right through the middle of your hip, all right? If I'm on my heels, here I'm out of balance, I'm on my heels, you know, my heels over here at the front of my hip. Here I'm on my toes, my heel's way back here. So that's one little check. I think when you're also balanced and you're in a good spot, if we drew a line from the back of your armpit, it would go armpits, knees, shoelaces. Those are really good balance points. So we're not gonna be back here, we're not gonna be on our toes, all right? That's why when you see these old school golfers and they were walking into it, their feet were the last thing to get organized, okay? And then finally, we wanna have good alignment. We wanna be like Scotty Scheffler again. So Scotty, #1 player in the world, he has a grip trainer. So he puts his hands on there. Here you could see the V's, right shoulder, incorrect, left shoulder. Something to notice, when I could have this grip, but different arm alignment, you know? If it's neutral and I got the V's to the right shoulder, it'll just look like one arm from this side view when you look in a mirror. I see a lot of this. I see two arms. The left hand's too much under, the right hand's too much over. Right arm over left, neutral. When I'm neutral, I could see both of my shoelaces. When I'm out of neutral, I can't see my right shoelace. Here's the other side too, okay? So get there. But then going back to what Scotty does besides that grip trainer, okay? He uses the railroad track. All right, so old school ideas that are used with today's players, you know, and then we have a line for our target, but we also have one for our body. We want our body lines to be parallel left. I don't want to point my body at the target. That means that my golf ball target line would be too far to the right. So I like the station to hit from. And then finally, let's keep the ball position so simple. Whenever the ball is on the ground, whether you're hitting a wedge, 7-iron, or a 3-wood, all right, let's play this ball about 3 to 4 inches inside of our front foot. You know, what will change is where the right foot is at, our width of stance. You know, if I go a little bit wider than my shoulders, this ball is forward of center. If I go around shoulder width, this ball is in the middle. If I bring this foot in like a chip shot, this ball's back. So those are the little things that change from day to day. Pretty soon you'll be able to memorize the feel of the golf dance, but if you are meticulous with your grip, your stance, alignment, and ball position, you have a really good chance of being consistent out on the course. Old school tip number 5, use ball flight to calibrate. So golfers back in the day, they would hit golf shots, and then based on what the golf ball was doing, they would make small adjustments, primarily to their club face or to their alignment, all right? The club face is gonna be the king of direction. That's why we wanna have a good grip. I see a lot of mistakes in here. One of the primary ones for new golfers, they put their left thumb or their lead thumb just right down the middle of the shaft. When I let my arm relax, it opens the face. So now my face this is gonna go to the right. My face is gonna be open, okay? Ball just went off to the right. So you gotta double check and make sure that your grip's good. Opposite, another thing that I always see, I'll see a right hand, a trail hand going too far under, all right? It starts to close the club face. So then I can make my same swing, now I get something going left. The swing was the same with both those, but my club face is drastically different, okay? All right, let's say that your club face is good. We're hitting the middle of the screen, but we're seeing the ball curve, all right? Then we've got to probably make a small adjustment with swing path, all right? My body alignments really affect my swing path, especially my shoulders. So if I was on purpose trying to curve a ball off to the right, I would point my club face straight, but then I would have my feet pointed a little bit left, and I'm gonna swing on my foot line. Let me get this small little curve off to the right, okay? Opposite, if I'm gonna do a draw, okay? I'm gonna do a draw, I'm gonna have my club face aimed at that target, but I'm gonna close my stance a little bit, okay? And then this, will make the ball fall a little bit from right to left. But use some of these basics of small adjustments with the face and small adjustments with our alignment to calibrate the direction that you're hitting these golf balls. You know, I'll see a lot of players just come in just like, okay, I got to create more lag. They're making changes just based on what their swing looks like. They're trying to have an aesthetically pleasing golf swing. I don't blame them, but we want to have a nice functional golf swing. So hopefully these tips that we've talked about from the past could help you with your current game. Hopefully it helps simplify your mind a little bit. Hopefully it gets you a little more into the flow. So the next time you're out on the golf course, you're being instinctual and reactive. So good luck to you. If you need help, we're here.